Jayen Mehta, Managing Director of Amul. Mr. Mehta, appreciate you taking out the time, sir, and speaking with us. Nice to see you happy and smile. Sir, your first reaction to the budget today. What did you make of this budget? Of course, right before you joined us, we were discussing that it cannot be a populist budget to the extent that it pleases everyone. There are going to be some misses. There are going to be some hits. How do you rate this budget, sir?
First of all, thank you for having me on the show. Budget is overall a policy which shows the way in which the government is looking at every single sector and the direction it wants to move on. Talking about this specific budget, we are happy to see the consistency, we are happy to see the continuity, and we are happy to see the sharp focus on the future. Talking about the cooperative sector, if you recall, the Honorable Prime Minister said last year that the focus of the government will be on the women, on the poor, on the farmers, on the youth. And cooperatives are rightfully, and going by the Amul model, which I represent, have demonstrated that they have the capability to contribute to the overall growth of all these four castes, as the Honorable Prime Minister mentioned. Talking in the same breath, I would also add that 3 years back, the new Ministry of Cooperation was formed at the central level. Over the last couple of years, they've unleashed almost 54 different initiatives trying to strengthen the cooperative movement, including setting up of the 3 multi-state cooperatives. And today they announced about the new cooperative policy. Now I've been fortunate to be a part of the member of this drafting committee, and been watching very closely of the focus of the government, of all the members into strengthening the cooperative movement, and not just talking about cooperatives as just a principle, but it's walking the talk, right from having a level playing field from the cooperatives to sharp focus on marketing, to building grassroots organizations, inclusiveness, social agenda to be taken care of, business objectives to be met, and more importantly, using technology to have a clear focus on how we are ready for the future. So all said and done, I think for the cooperative sector, this augurs in a very good opportunity to build on what's happened over the last 77 years since independence, and almost the same time Amul has been in the space, and also keep a sharp focus on where we need to go for future, into areas where actually government cannot do its work, private sector cannot be expected to do, and that's where the cooperatives as a body of members come in, and with the right support and all of the government approach, they can deliver the results.
So there is also an impetus and a push towards skilling India. The internship program that the government announced is obviously an initiative by the government, but there is a large corporate responsibility, not corporate social responsibility, sir, but corporate responsibility to tag along if we have to solve the unemployment issue. How much do you concur with that?
I fully agree, because see, we run ourselves more than 100 plants. Okay, and talent, of course, is the most important thing which drives the business. And here we are talking of multiple sets of organizations across the country, all requiring talent to be future ready. It cannot happen without internship. It cannot happen without the industry understanding and orientation. All of us want to recruit experienced people, but who is the first person to give you experience? So this is where I think this is a path-breaking initiative. It sounds very simple that you are contributing to either the first salary or asking 500 organizations to build onto this. But actually, in real life, for a person who wants to get into this workspace, you cannot find a more better welcome and a hand-holding, which is actually by the industry, but backed by the government. So I think if properly done, and I think as industries and cooperatives, we do that very consistently, because we have dairy science colleges working with us, the veterinary colleges working with us, the food technology institutes working with us. We've been doing it, and we need to do it actually. But now with a more structured way, I think it will be very good for the youth of the country, and at least they know there's somebody who's worried about them.
Mr. Mehta, even if you look at the global context, how would you rate India's stability basis what the budget also exuded today? Considering our GDP and the GDP number at this point in time, it's double of the global average. What does that tell you about the right moves that have been made in the last 10 years, including the bad phase of COVID-19?
Yeah, I think the economic policy which was announced yesterday is gives out all what we do, and obviously we all been not just waiting for this document but also seeing and watching what's happening in different parts of the world. So India definitely is a very, very shining spot in the globe, not just the GDP or the growth of the economy, but overall the vibrancy of all the sectors that we are in. I mean, we can value India only when you go out of the country and realize that even the developed countries are not as, so to say, shining as you expected them. Be it the digital inclusion, the technology being used across, the ubiquitousness of the different modes of payment that we see today, and more importantly, the infrastructure, the focus on the markets. And India, now the largest populous country in the world, the biggest consumer market also in the world. And let me be very, very clear about this, that never ever in history of this planet you will find more than 70 crore people, I mean, say half of our population less than 25 years of age, residing in one such geography. So it is India's place time now, but more importantly, next 10, 20 years will be very, very defining for the country. And so if we are dreaming for the top two, top three position, I think it is immensely achievable.
Mr. Mehta, the government is also extremely ambitious about digital integration and digital inclusivity as well. But that is not alone the government's job. How incumbent does it become also on the corporate sector, to go hand in hand with the government's vision of, a complete digital Bharat?
Yeah, obviously it's our job to do it, because that's where it's obviously not the government which can be expected to do so. I can talk about Amul. We are in 18,600 villages of Gujarat, 3.6 million farmers, and most of them are women. So we have a drive now to connect all the farmer accounts to the cooperative banks and make direct payment into their bank accounts. I'm happy to say we are more than 95% through in that thing. So this shows the strength now of a cooperative to integrate with another cooperative, which is a bank again owned by the similar set of farmers. And we are able to drive not just digital inclusion, but also women empowerment. Also ensure that the economy grows with the right tools and they get the benefits of modern financial terms like the credit cards that we use. And also multiple schemes of the government can also be driven through this kind of integration. So I think this is a great opportunity for us to be doing so. And as corporates and cooperatives, it's our responsibility also to see that we are able to expedite this, the digital inclusion part, women empowerment part, and more importantly, economic activity grows in the every single village, which reduces the need for migration. People get employment at the place where they are. And the pride of being associated with a brand like Amul, which is a $10 billion brand, is of course added icing on the cake for the members.
Mr. Mehta, so there's going to be another budget in another 6 months. We had the interim budget before the Lok Sabha elections took place, and we have another budget in July. Are there any expectations that you have of the government when it comes to more planning and more inclusivity and more foresight into some of the issues that still plague our country?
Obviously, the expectations are endless, because when you are in industry and we are in this environment, obviously a lot of farmers also speak their voices and have a request. Talking about the dairy, India is the largest producer of milk in the world. About 1/4 of the total milk in the world is going to be is being produced in India today. In the next decade, it's going to be more than 30%. So you need to grow this industry through consolidation, not necessarily more number of cows, but improving the productivity and other things. So many of these measures have been considered in the budgets, not just this year, but in the past years also. But one interesting thing I should like to mention here, that the value of output of milk is more than wheat, paddy, and oilseeds put together. So milk is the largest agricultural crop of the country with value of output more than 12 lakh crore rupees. But unfortunately for the farmers, the income from milk is not exempt from tax as it is in case of agriculture. So we would request the government to keep this in mind, that if we want to become a dairy to the world, and we are 8 crore families depending on milk for their livelihood, and most of them are women, a small measure to exclude milk income from taxation and treat it like agriculture will be a path-breaking move, and will benefit crores of families across the country, but more importantly, give them confidence that if they put in their bit into it, the dream of India becoming a dairy to the world will be achieved at a much faster rate.
Mr. Mehta, really appreciate you taking out the time, sir, and speaking with us. Thank you so much.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.